Ever feel like hitting that easy apply button is kind of a misnomer? I mean,
Hmm.
applying for jobs online these days can feel like you're just sending your resume into the void.
Yeah, it's true. The job market has really gone digital. It's all algorithms and applicant tracking systems now.
If yes, right.
Exactly. And those systems are often the gatekeepers between you and that dream job.
It's like they know we're all out here drowning in a sea of online applications, and they're like, here's some more technology to make it even more complicated. But that's actually why these sources you sent over about RoleCatcher were so interesting to me.
Well, and what's so interesting about RoleCatcher is that it doesn't just kind of throw you into the job search jungle.
Hmm.
It actually helps you understand how to navigate it. So remember those ATS we were talking about?
Uh,
RoleCatcher actually analyzes job descriptions, and it identifies the hidden keywords and skills employers are really looking for, even if they're kind of buried deep in the text.
so it's like having a secret decoder ring, but for job descriptions.
Kind of.
But how does it actually work? Is this like next level AI or something?
It is pretty clever engineering. They use AI, but they also combine that with like data analysis on a massive scale. So they've trained their system on thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even more, of job descriptions, resumes, and successful applications.
Oh, wow.
And this lets the platform spot patterns and really understand what makes an application stand out, not just to algorithms, but also to recruiters.
Okay, so it's not just about like cramming in as many keywords as possible.
No, not at all.
It's about understanding the context of those keywords and how they relate to the specific job that you're actually after.
That's exactly it. And that's where the magic really happens. Instead of just listing, generic skills on your resume, RoleCatcher helps you tailor your experience to match what each specific job needs, which gives you a much higher chance of actually getting noticed.
Okay, so that's why you called it a game changer in your notes. I get it. But what else really stood out to you when you were looking at all this stuff about RoleCatcher?
Well, I know how much you love a good curveball, so I think you'll appreciate this. You included a pension scheme manager career guide in the materials you sent to me.
Okay, you got me. I love the less obvious stuff. I'm always up for checking out new paths.
And this guide is seriously comprehensive. It goes way beyond your typical job description and salary info. It actually gets into the day-to-day, the skills you need, even what your career trajectory could look like as a pension scheme manager. And it's all offered through RoleCatcher, which I thought was interesting.
All right, now you've got me intrigued. Let's dive into this whole pension scheme manager thing and see what we find. So what does a pension scheme manager even do? I'm not going to lie, my knowledge here is a little shaky.
It's not exactly a common topic, is it? Basically, they're like the guardians of retirement funds.
Okay.
They make sure those funds are invested properly, all the regulations are being followed, and that people actually get the benefits they're supposed to when they retire.
So yeah, that's a big responsibility. The guide mentions stability and positive impact as being big perks of the job, and I can definitely see that appealing to people.
Definitely. And this actually goes back to what we were talking about before, RoleCatcher going beyond just the surface level. The guide really digs into those softer aspects of the job, like having a sense of purpose and the opportunity to really impact people's lives in a positive way.
Yeah, for sure. It's easy to get caught up in salary and job titles, but what you do every day and how it affects other people is important too.
Yeah.
What else did this guide tell us about this whole pension scheme manager thing?
One thing that I thought was interesting was how much it emphasized communication and people skills. It's not all just crunching numbers. Pension scheme managers have to be able to explain complicated financial stuff to regular people, and a lot of times those people are stressed out because it's about their retirement.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're not just managing money, you're managing their future.
Yeah,
So you need a good balance of being good with numbers and being good with people.
exactly. And speaking of skills, remember how we were talking about RoleCatcher helping you tailor your resume? Well, this guide actually takes it a step further. It tells you about the specific certifications and qualifications that will give you an edge in this line of work.
Oh, you mean all those credentials you see on people's LinkedIn profiles? Like the alphabet soup after their name? Break it down for me.
Right. So things like the CEBS, which is Certified Employee Benefits Specialist, or the CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst,
Right.
those tell potential employers that you've got the specialized skills and knowledge that you need for pension management.
So RoleCatcher doesn't just tell you what you need, it points you towards actually getting those skills.
Exactly. It's all about you taking charge of your career, whether you're just starting out or you're trying to move up in your field. Speaking of moving up,
Yes. Tell me about the career stages section you mentioned.
so this is where the guide gets really good, I think. It lays out a clear path for someone who wants to be a pension scheme manager. You might start as a pension scheme administrator, where you do more of the day-to-day stuff and get your experience up.
Okay.
Then you could move into like an analyst role with more responsibility for analyzing investments and managing risk.
And then eventually, bam, pension scheme manager. It's interesting to see how many different ways you can go with this.
Absolutely. And the cool thing is, the guide actually gives real examples of people who have gone down those different paths. So you really get a feel for the different kinds of careers you can have in this field.
I like that they included those stories. It makes it more real.
Right. Makes it feel attainable. And, speaking of things that are relatable, let's get back to RoleCatcher's AI stuff.
Right.
What about that interview prep section?
Oh, yeah. The one with all the practice questions.
Yeah.
Tell me more. Tell me more. I mean, having a ton of practice interview questions is already amazing. But the fact that they're tailored for specific jobs, like this pension scheme manager one we're talking about, that's huge. It's like having a cheat sheet for the scariest part of getting a job.
It's even better than a cheat sheet, honestly. Remember how RoleCatcher is all about helping you understand the why, not just the what? This interview prep section does the same thing. It doesn't just throw questions at you. It actually helps you figure out why they're asking those questions and what employers actually want to hear in your answer.
So it's more about telling your story the right way than just memorizing a bunch of stuff.
Exactly. And this is where RoleCatcher's AI really comes in, especially that co-pilot feature.
Yeah.
We've talked about how it analyzes job descriptions to help with your resume, but get this, it can also analyze your practice videos.
Wait, hold on. It analyzes videos. Like what? Is it judging my posture? Is it making sure I'm not, like, fidgeting too much?
Not quite. I mean, it can pick up on some visual cues, but it's mainly focused on how you're speaking and what you're saying. It analyzes things like your tone of voice, how fast you're talking, even if you're explaining things clearly.
So it's like having a personal speech coach, but in an app, giving you feedback to help you totally crush those interviews.
Exactly. It's like having your own little practice space where you can try out answers, see where you need to improve, and then walk into that interview feeling amazing.
Okay, I gotta say, I'm impressed. RoleCatcher seems like it has everything you need, from understanding those tricky job descriptions to building a killer resume to absolutely acing your interviews. It almost sounds too good to be true.
And the best part is you don't even have to pay a ton to try it out. They have a free account that gives you access to a lot of the features, including some basic AI analysis and some of the career guides.
So you can check it out, see if it works for you, and then decide if you want the full experience. No pressure, just tons of potential for your career.
Exactly. Like a free trial for your future success.
I like the sound of that. So for everyone listening, if you're feeling lost in the job market or just want to make sure you're ahead of the game, check out RoleCatcher. You never know. It could be just what you need to get your dream job.
Couldn't agree more. And remember, no matter what stage you're at in your career, never stop learning and growing. Take advantage of every resource out there, like RoleCatcher, and don't be afraid to explore new paths.
That's such an important point. Things are changing faster than ever, but with the right mindset and the right tools, you can navigate the chaos and build a fulfilling career. And that's what it's all about, right? Finding a career that lights you up and sets you up for success, both now and in the future.